Hey, and welcome back to another video. So if you're watching this video, you already know that the situation with graphics cards is looking pretty strange right now. Just a few months ago, you probably couldn't have got a card for MSRP at all, and everything was just inflated in prices. But after the whole Bitcoin crash and stuff, Bitcoin miners have been selling off their hordes of graphics cards for really low prices. For example, just a few hours ago, I was looking for a 1070 Ti, and I think this is a 1070 Ti tab. As you can see, this one over here is selling for just $229. It says refurbished, but all 90% of these cards that have just been flooded in the past few weeks after the crash were almost all Bitcoin mined cards, and they're being sold for pretty low prices, and a few cards that actually are going below MSRP, which is kind of tempting for most people. And I've been asked, should I buy this card, should I buy that card? My friends have asked me, people in the comment sections have asked me, so I thought I'll address this situation on three different categories. And I'll address that on three separate categories, which is how to spot a card that has been mined on, should you buy a card that has been mined on, and how to avoid scams, because scams have already popped up. It's just really strange to see that cards like, for example, this GTX 680 4GB version, which initially a few months ago was like $200 on eBay, is now just worth $80, which is really strange to see how things have gone so far. Luckily, I paid nothing for this. My friend found this one near the dumpster. However, people have probably paid a lot for these cards when they were under inflated prices, and now they're probably pissed, and there's nothing really you can do about that, and that's sad, but it is what it is. We're here to answer these questions that I already mentioned, and let's jump right into it. But as usual, before jumping right in, don't forget to smash that like button down below, as it helps this video get on YouTube's algorithm, and also don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and ring that bell notification button so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Also, don't forget to leave a comment down below or ask me any questions if you want regarding graphics cards. Any specific questions you may have, leave a comment down below or a question down below. We can start a discussion, or I can answer your questions. Also, there'll be other people willing to answer your questions who else are watching this video, so that's also a great source of information. My social media is linked down in the description below, which includes Instagram, Discord, and Twitter. And now let's jump right into this video. So firstly, I want to point out that you can use this video as a podcast, sort of. You don't really have to watch it. I'll be just occasionally showing you some prices and stuff like that, but you can open your other tab and go about your work while listening to this video. I'm not going to do any B-roll or stuff in this video, so yeah, just to point that out. And also, the video slider is segmented into different categories. As you can see, how to spot a mined-on graphics card, should you buy a mined-on graphics card, or the final topic, which is how to watch out for scams. So if you want to jump to a specific section, you can go ahead using the slider. So that's also there as an option. So with that in mind, how do you know a graphics card has been mined on or not? There are so many ways to check, actually. The thermal history values when you open GPU-Z, that's one thing. And then you can also check for BIOS information and stuff. But here's the problem with those things. Those values can be flashed or overwritten. They can be reset, flashed, reset, overwritten, whatever you call. So if the seller is ripping you off, he would know to do those. Most Bitcoin miners are very tech savvy with their graphics cards. They'll wipe all these cards clean, and they'll just make it look like it's a standard card. Those thermal values and BIOS values could be easily changed, but I know one method that is foolproof that could never be changed. So before you buy whatever card on the internet, whether it's Facebook Marketplace, OfferUp, Mercari, eBay, wherever, all platforms offer you a option to message the seller. So go ahead and message the seller and ask him, has this card been ever mined on? Now, if his answer is yes and he's being honest, then it goes on to the topic of whether you want to buy a mined-on card. Then you have to jump to the section in this video. I've, by the way, segmented the video slider so you can jump to whichever section you want. You have to jump to the section, should you buy a mined-on graphics card? So go ahead and do that if that's your thing. If you don't want a mined-on card at all, then continue watching. If you're okay with mined-on cards, then jump to that section. So if you're okay, if you don't like cards that have been mined on, okay, this is what you're going to do. So you ask him that question and he says no. All right, cool. Go ahead and buy the card. If you win the auction or whatever, go ahead. and make sure that message is screenshotted, or you keep that, do not delete that message or that email or whatever. Most websites will keep that message history until the transaction is done or past a month or something. When the card comes in the mail, the first day the card comes in the mail, do not waste time. Plop that thing in your PC and run a benchmark on it. 3D mark, a fur mark, there's just a ton of applications. Usually it's 3D mark and fur mark and stuff like that, heaven benchmark, etc, etc. So many applications. Get those raw performance values and then go on YouTube or some website and look at a new card performance values for whenever that card whichever card you bought was released. Definitely YouTubers at the time would have bought the card and benchmarked those cards using the same software that you did, a popular software, and they'll put the raw values on screen, the website or the YouTuber or whoever. Compare the values from your card versus the values from when the card was new from the YouTube video or the website and see if they're similar. Now, a card that was gamed on would, of course, any graphics card that is used will have different values over time. The performance values will be less. However, cards that have been drastically mined on or heavily mined on would be very different. The values would be drastically different. That's a great way to see whether the card has been mined on or not. Mined on cards are, like I said earlier, inferior in many ways to cards that were gamed on. The numbers compared to when the card was new will be very, very drastic. That's just how it works. And that is a foolproof way that no seller or scammer can ever bypass. You just cannot bypass raw numbers. So that's how you spot a card that has been mined on. The values from new to whichever card you bought, if they're just too much in between, then the card was highly, most likely mined on, or it could be just a card that was just used heavily and you still don't want to buy it. It's a card that has lost a lot of its performance and it's probably not worth the asking price. So that's something to avoid. Now, how are you going to get your money back? Because he said the card was not mined on, right, initially. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to eBay, open a case. First, you're going to message and then tell him, hey, I found out this card was mined on. It's been heavily used. I want a refund. I want to return the card. Now, you got to be honest with yourself as well. You got to honestly return the card. You be a good civilian and return the card. Don't try to scam him back or something like that. You do the right thing and you return your card. That's how things work. Just be a good person. And if he doesn't reply or he starts making up excuses and whatever, open a case with eBay, open a case with Macari, whatever, and then show them that message. Whatever the case you open, show the message that, hey, I messaged him and he lied to me, saying said the product was in said condition, and that will build your case against whoever the seller is, that he actually was the one that lied to you and the card has been mined on or whatever. And then that helps the whoever eBay or whoever who's in charge make a more informed decision on what it is, and you get the option to return the card or whatever. It goes from there. So that's a foolproof way to not get scammed on the internet with a card that has been mined on. So now let's move on to the next topic. So the next topic here is, should you buy a card that was mined on? Now, not all graphics cards that were mined on are inherently bad. If it's a newer card that's just a few months old, that was released a few months ago and has been mined on, it's most likely still good because it wasn't used for that long. A bit of thermal paste, some cleaning, that card's probably going to be good for a long time. It's probably even almost like new. Who knows? It's just really hit or miss. But if it's an older model card, it's most likely completely dumpstered, if you know what I mean. Like a 1000 series card, like a 1070 Ti or whatever. I don't know if they're called 1000 series or whatever the series. 1070 Ti, 1080, whatever. Those cards are old now, and most likely, if they've been mined on since ever, they're not good. They're probably crap. But a newer card, like say a 3000 series card, or maybe a 2000 series card, 2080 to 2070, etc., etc. It depends. It's really hard to say how much of the use has been gone into these cards. Not all sellers are going to be honest. They just want to get their cards sold. The miners, they just want to get money back. So they're not going to be too honest with you. And there's no real way to check the life count, because some people always reset the cards. Like I told you, they will find a way to reset it. There are some who don't. They're really honest people, and big thumbs up to them. Thumbs up to all the honest sellers. You're amazing. However, there'll be people who reset the life counters or put fake values in there. There's just so many ways to modify BIOSes and stuff of your cards. Just keep that in mind. So at the end of the day, the best way to check if the card has been taken care of while it was being mined on is, I don't know how you're going to do this, but if you can get honest information on this, always check that the card has been kept cool during mining processes, that it has been, the fans have been kept at a good RPM, the room was well ventilated, the setup was well mined on. Some miners may put photos of their entire setup as well to show you, but then the photos could be straight off the internet as well. So you should use Google Images to cross-check images from eBay listings. So that's also a good thing to do. Make sure it was well ventilated and cooled. Make sure it was undervolted. Usually it's a good practice to undervolt a card when you're mining. And make sure it was underclocked as well. Some people do underclock their cards. So if it's kept cool, undervolted, and underclocked, most likely it's still a good card. Now, I'm not sure how you're going to obtain this information off the internet or just take people's word for it. I don't know how you're going to do that. But if you cross off those three, the card is most likely still good. It's probably still a good card. I'd advise you to avoid older cards like the 1000 series, like I mentioned, because they're just old as hell. But others, like past the 2000 series, if you can get that information and it has been taken care of and the card hasn't been out on the market for too long, it's most likely okay. It's most likely a okay card. Now I'm not good with AMD cards here, but was it the 6000 series or 6700 or so? The card was not on the market for that long. Forgive me if I'm wrong. I'm not an expert on AMD cards, but one of those higher end AMD cards, it wasn't on the market that long. So if you get one now that has been mined on, it's going to be probably going to be most likely fine, because it wasn't on the market for long to begin with, just a few months. So it's still good to go. So that's honestly, at the end, it's up to you whether you want to get a mined on card or not. It just always boils down to what you feel is good. But if it's an older card, I'd advise you to avoid it, because the older the card, the more likely it has been mined on for longer and there's more damage. And like I said, you can run that test that I mentioned earlier as well. So at the end of the day, it's kind of up to you. If it's a newer card, it's fine, but if it's an older card, I'd stay away from it. So we are here in the final topic, and oh boy, is it a spicy topic. Now, what is this topic? Well, it's your good old scams. Scams exist every day, but now with this whole Bitcoin thing crashed and the GPUs been going down in price and stuff, the scammers are out in full force. Oh boy, I saw a RTX 390 for like $400 a few hours ago. I'm pretty sure that's a legitimate deal. The seller has zero feedback, and his eBay registered address says the United Kingdom, but the item ships from Latvia? Oh, I'm pretty sure he's genuine. That's definitely not a scam, isn't it? Please. Oh boy. Where do I even get started on these things? Whenever there's some situation on Earth, this crap fest of scammers always come out of the woodwork. They're on eBay, they're on OfferUp, they're on Facebook Marketplace, they're everywhere. Don't think that because Facebook Marketplace has your Facebook profile, that doesn't mean that they can't make fake profiles. So just remember that. So they're everywhere, and they've gotten their hands on the whole GPU situation as well. So you're gonna see GPUs that are too good to be true, and with 100% certainty and 100% safety, you should not buy cards that are too good to be true. They're either heavily mined on, they're broken, or they're a scam. Just if it's something that maybe it's a bit lower than retail, sure, it's probably mined on, it's probably a bit broken, whatever. You'll have to talk that out to the seller or read the description and stuff. But if you see a card for like a super fraction of what it's sold for initially, for example, the RTX 390, $400 for even a mined on RTX 390 looks unusually low. So And the other ways to avoid scams, and these are common ways by now, everyone probably knows. Look at the seller's feedback, look at their history, see how long they've been on eBay or whatever the app you're buying from. Just do the usual. You know the general rules on not how to get scammed online, but keep in mind that these scammers are probably going to notice that, okay, we're putting the values a bit too low at this point. We should probably up them and just make them look similar. But then again, you can always look at their feedback history and all that stuff. If they don't have feedback, if they're really new, if they joined just a few weeks ago, most likely you shouldn't be buying from them. Now, I'm not saying that all new sellers are scammers. That's a bad take. But given the current situation, that's something that you have to sort of, I don't know, balance out, because that's what people are doing on the internet right now. I've seen a lot of scams in the past few hours that I've been scrolling on eBay. And of course, the other big red flag is only Cash App, only Venmo, only this money transferring app, only that money transferring app. I only sell out of eBay. This is just my listing. Just completely ignore them. Don't even consider them. Those are just scams. So yeah, those are your general things. Just watch out for scams. It's too good to be true. If the seller wants to sell out of the application, he'll say, oh, my card doesn't work, my bank does not like eBay. What else? What other nonsensical things do they say? Oh, I didn't get the money, my card won't attach to eBay. They'll come up with some excuse. Literally, a spaceship they could tell you that a spaceship landed in their backyard. It doesn't matter. You're still not gonna go out of the application. Do not go out of eBay, Venmo, eBay, OfferUp, Mercari, Facebook, whatever. These companies protect you from scams. Do not go out of the app, because if you do the transaction out of the app, you're done. They do not cover you after that. And also, even on eBay, if you can, pay with PayPal. If you're buying something, pay with PayPal, you get that extra layer of protection. So yeah, that's just my take on the whole topic, and some ways to not get scammed, how to notice a card that has been mined on, whether you should buy a card that has been mined on or not. Whatever. Just let me know down in the comments what you think about this whole situation. Are you going to get a card off eBay or wherever? Are you okay with it being mined on? Have you experienced something like this in the past? Whatever, just let me know down in the comments. We can start a comment section. We can start a discussion, or I can answer your questions. Also, if you like this video, don't forget to leave a big thumbs up on the like button, as this helps this video get on YouTube's algorithm. Also, don't forget to hit that subscribe button down below and ring that bell notification button so you're notified whenever I upload a new video. Leave a comment, leave a question. Check out my social media, which is linked down in the description below, which includes Instagram, Discord, and Twitter. Thumbs up, and I'll see you guys in my next video.